Here. It'll say that it's live any second.
All right.
Oh, I'm sitting here and it's already live. So it's what would I know? I'll just throw out the old lady card, you know? Oh my gosh, Facebook, how are you? I'm waving at you. Can you see this little hand that's not supposed to be here? Anyway, yeah, I like to play around. I don't know what I'm doing with a computer. Just humor the old bag. That's what I say. Facebook, thank you so much. I know a lot of you like to come after the fact, like good little stalkers, and that's cool. Thank you so much. Once in a rare moon, somebody's actually here, and I'm learning how to actually talk and see what they're saying in the chat. So let's see how this goes. I have a sponsor. Yeah, so you got to give a nod to your sponsor. Listen, all you crazy people out there, I'm watching you. I was in the Army. Now, I don't play, so you better knock off all the games you're trying with other people, with me. Don't trigger my PTSD. I'm an Army veteran. Did you hear me? I'm playing with you. I'm an Army veteran, and my sponsor, speaking of sponsors, the veterans of comedy.com. So anytime that you want to make someone who used to serve our country serve up jokes, now you know where to go to find me and other people who actually really served our country. I just counted money in Germany. It's like not really serving. While the men were in the bushes of Vietnam, I was mostly just yodeling in the Alps. It's no big deal. But I'll come after if you mess with me. Anyway, today have I got a treat for you guys. Oh my gosh, I met him in Vegas. He knows my connections in El Paso, Texas. He is somebody to keep your eye out on. If I had money, I would bet on him. You know, there's certain people you interview and you're like, yeah, I wish I had money, because I think I can pick a winner. I think he's going to be one of them that's going to actually make it in this business. Got a lot of humility. You can tell by the way he's letting me jabber on. He's super.
I counted money, but I ain't playing. Like, I will hit you with these nipples. Like I was letting you go.
They had me with a 45 weapon when I was young. Now when I need one, I can't get one because I have a brain injury. Thanks a lot, Army. Oh. That's a whole nother talk show. It's not even fun. Maybe when I'm 120, it'll finally be funny. It's not funny yet. Anyway, let's welcome him to the stage and get to know him, not me. I hate it when people only talk about themselves during an interview. Like, you know, I was born in Portland. Who cares? You're the interviewer. Get to the meeting. Okay, our guest today, Anthony Austin Brown.
What's up?
He's a multi-talented comedian on the rise. He's traveled around by military family, but he resides in El Paso. His high energy act, as well as his innovative material, has been making waves throughout the Southwest. Soon will make his name throughout the globe. Oh my gosh, I love it. He's speaking the future into the present. OMG, I love this guy already. Get ready. Yeah. Here he comes to take the stage. He loves stage time. Anthony Austin Brown. Woo! Hi.
How y'all doing?
Doing good. Thank you. I'm just trying to be crazy for you. How am I doing?
Great. I appreciate it. It's very by the way, yesterday was Jim Carrey's birthday. And like when I was a kid, that was one of my favorite comedians physically. Like, he is the king of physical comedy. So I appreciate what you just did right now. I really do.
Oh my gosh. you like physical comedy. There's some people back in my day that were physical comedians too. Have you studied physical comedians way back in time?
No, not yet.
Oh my gosh, that'll trip you out. I think Dick Van Dyke and the guy that was on Three's Company who passed away from heart problems on the set, can't remember his name. Those two, to me, were the best physical comics, that I saw growing up.
Right.
But there were a lot before that.
And like I've been studying the different aspects of comedy. Like I have my favorites in different categories, like the one-liners or the storytellers, and so Jim Carrey just happens to be my physical, like for so many different reasons, especially with the comedian I became. I feel like I'm deeply influenced by those that can do like more than just like tell jokes. Like they sing, they act, they dance, like Jamie Foxx, Eddie Murphy. I just found out that Richard Pryor sang. Like,
no
what?
way.
You haven't seen that video?
I did not know that.
All right, so there's a video out. Anybody that's catching us, there's a video out of Richard Pryor singing. Check it out. It's on YouTube right now. He's got pipes. Like what? Like so. Yeah, when you find out stuff about like comedians that just like do multiple ends of like the art, like because I respect the art. At first I was an actor, and I was very much into comedic acting. I didn't know I could act, like cry on time, like I had to have somebody bring it out of me. Shout out to Margaret Mitchell from the University of the Incarnate Word. That's where I went to college. Didn't finish, but I went. But I went.
Me too.
Yeah.
I could have taught you to cry on time, like anytime I was pulled over by the police.
I can't do that. Get in the back of the vehicle. What are you doing? Save your tears. They told me. But yeah, it's been really cool to figure out the comedian I'm turning into, the comedian I'm meant to be, and there's so much to study. So.
Absolutely. How long have you been studying the craft? You watched it how young did you start watching it?
That's a tricky question, because comedy is like in a lot of things. So as far as stand-up or like comedy in general?
Like comedy shows, reading funny books, making your friends laugh. How early in your childhood does comedy play a part? Or, how did comedy come into your life?
Well, it came into my life just like my family's funny. Like a lot of my family is just like hilarious, like brothers arguing and fighting amongst each other, calling each other's just ragging on each other. That's where it kind of starts. But you see, like I used to watch a lot of films with my family, and like I remember like the first time I saw the Kings of Comedy, the original Kings of Comedy with Bernie Mac, DL. I was literally in my drawers watching them, and for me to like almost like a year and a half ago to do a guest spot for DL Hughley, that like stuff like that just like blows my mind. It's incredible. So it started really young, just amongst ourselves, around friends, family, and of course the stuff you watch.
How did that go, doing a guest spot in front of DL Hughley?
Let me tell you something. Like I need to be a lot more cool. I need to like I need to apply my acting skills in real life. Cause like when I tell you I'm nervous until I get on stage, like I'm nervous. Like I don't want to like, cause I don't know what celebrity I'm gonna get. You hear so much about celebrities like, oh, they don't talk to people, like you don't know who to like, like be cool. But DL Hughley was really cool. He just meeting him, and shout out to Bart Reed. He let me meet him. He's for those that aren't from El Paso, Bart Reed's the owner of the El Paso comic strip here in El Paso, Texas. He just gave me the opportunity to see DL Hughley. I just like, for some reason, like I'm still blown away by the fact that I can perform in front of like legends, like people I just like see as a kid, you know, like until they're in your face, you really don't act. So
Speaking of Jews,
Jew.
I'm Jewish, and Wendy Liebman is my legendary figure that I look up to of all the female comedians who are still alive, you know, and I love her word play, but she does smart word play. And
Right.
I just love her demeanor, like telling a joke with a straight face, and like kind of like Richard Pryor a lot of times would just sit down and just make you laugh by the words. Like, whoa, that's powerful. I can't do that. And I got to perform in front of her. And oh my gosh, when I heard her laughing at what I was saying, it's like takes you out of what you're doing. You have to bring yourself back in, like, okay, focus.
Oh, an amazing thing. I haven't had that with DL Hughley or Donnell Rawlings, but I performed.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I mean, they're both awesome. Like, I don't think they've truly, like, they said I was good. They said I was good, but I don't think I truly like impressed them, like made them laugh, you know? Like, not yet.
But then again, you know how we're such critics. They could have been sitting there summing up what you're doing and how you're doing it, you know, like being critical, not in a bad way, but okay, there's a triplet. Yeah, that was a reverse or whatever, you know, studying it.
Yeah, and
maybe they did think you were good, but they're not the type to puff you up. They want to make you work for it or whatever.
Right. And you never know until they like tell you, you know. So I can only assume just the amount of experience that I had with each. So I had great experiences with them, you know, and I'm just grateful for even performing in front of them. Like, it's not like I say it like I'm never gonna see them again, but I know I will. Like, there's like no end to this, you know. So there's no telling what.
You go around the country, right?
Yes. I mean, because of everything with COVID, it's been sketchy, but like, yeah, I've been doing that. I've been taking care of what I got to do to make that happen. So I'm just excited. I haven't been to the East Side. I haven't been to the East. I'm looking to go like everywhere. Like, it doesn't matter. I want to hit every club. So it'll only make me a better comedian. It'll get me better on my timing and just experience with like people. I can make more jokes based off of the experiences that I have with people. Like, a lot of like my situational comedy is relatable because like people are like, oh, I never thought of it like this, like, but I've been in that situation type deal. So
I love that. Leah Mendez is watching us do this interview. Hi, Leah.
Hi, Leah.
Yeah, I love her. She's so supportive of comedy. And she's rising up and she's taking the world by storm.
She really is.
Yeah, it's awesome. So you grew up in what city? You grew up in El Paso?
Yeah, for my teen and adult years, yes.
Prior to that, where were you?
So I was born in Kentucky. I feel like I stayed there for like 2 days and then moved to Germany. Yeah.
Where in Germany? I was in the army in Germany.
Right. So my parents, military as well. It was Frankfurt. So that's what.
Wow. Were they at Rhine-Main Air Base?
Oh, I wouldn't know. I was a child. So we stayed there for a little bit, and then like when I was about to turn like 10, 11, we moved to Pennsylvania.
Wow. So at what point in your life did they get out of the military?
Oh, when we moved here.
Not that long ago.
Right.
Wow. So they're both military. They both were in the army?
Yes.
What's that like, having a mother and a father that like rules?
You know, it's something they did a great job on. Like they never like made us, think about it. They just let us, be kids. We never saw our like parents like having like jobs like specifically for whatever they did, to use like as whatever. We
Got
just
it.
we just knew they worked for the military. We didn't like they never talk about their jobs with us, until we got older and we, had more conversation about it. But they always just wanted us to just be kids.
Oh man, I wish I would have had your parents.
Oh, that, I about
My
that too.
parents went through the Holocaust and I was traumatized at birth with all the stories. Like, oh, stop with the stories. I don't want to hear. I don't care.
I joke about that too because I feel like I'm not as successful right now because I haven't gone through a lot of struggle. Like I feel like I just have like a basic, upbringing. So
Yes. Do you have a lot of jokes about your parents being, growing up in military places and your parents in the military, or do you leave that alone?
I leave it alone. It's my life. I haven't like really thought about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the only thing like I did take from it was having to be a new person every time. Like you build relationships and then you leave and then you build up and then you leave. I was like, dude, like who am I? Like I don't know like
It's so true.
uh,
You can have a whole new identity every couple of years.
yeah, it was tough to figure out like who am I? Like I don't know what the hell. All I knew was that I was funny, you know?
When did you start being funny, and who encouraged it around, your home? Your family was funny, but outside of that, like in school, friends,
Oh
teachers.
man, yeah. There's some high school friends and college buddies that I've had. They're hilarious. Like you just meet some funny people like that are just characters, but in real life, it's legit. I met some gay people that were just so funny that hit on me. Like, like there's so much I could say. But people can be funny. Like you meet homeless people that are hilarious. You meet just like people you just happen to meet, out of situational, like elevator stopping.
Some people that have gotten on here have talked about a certain specific teacher that let them tell jokes in third grade or stuff like that. Did you have anybody that said you're funny, you should be on in comedy or in a play or nothing?
What? It's my buddies. And then even way back when I was a kid, I would be funny just to get out of fights.
I
Like
love
legit.
that.
I don't think I've ever had to throw hands like seriously ever in my life because like like legit. I've I've literally been in the back of a trunk of a truck with me and my homies just going to fight somebody for some reason, and I would just be in the truck just like, what am I doing here? And then and then I would literally raise out, and then nothing would happen. I don't want to go into detail of that, but but I've literally had situations where I could have been in so many fights, but like never had to because I was funny.
Wow, that is so cool. I hear that most of the time from men comedians. I've never heard, a woman say that's how comedy came to her to get out of fights. Maybe being bullied or made fun of, to have a comeback, but never fights. I've never heard a woman get on here and say, yeah, every time, somebody went to fight me, I'd say a joke.
And like, it's not like I was trying to get out of a fight. It's not that I don't want the opportunity to defend myself. I want to see if I'm good or not. But like, I'm not, but I don't, I don't want, I'm not calling it towards my, my energy because I'm really cool. I'm really chill, like I don't have time for that, but like, it's just, I've never had that happen. I've never had to fight, like ever. Like,
it's so funny because you're so funny that you don't know if you're good at fighting.
Yeah, I don't know if I can throw hands. I don't. Like, I've been mad before. I bust walls. I've made holes in walls. I've done it. Yeah. Like, but I don't know if I can determine if you're a good fighter or not. I don't know. Like, I would.
Oh my goodness sakes. So what are some of your interests? Let's step away from comedy for a bit.
Right.
What are some of your interests off stage? And
I love basketball. I that was my my sport. I swear I was gonna be a pro. Like, I started dunking and then I just thought I was the best. not better than everybody, but just the best. I just thought I was the best. Like, even have like a pregame ritual. Like I would just like I would swipe like an X on the court and then slap it and then run around. Like, but yeah. Besides that, I love video games. I'm really getting an interest behind the camera too. I like taking videos. I like getting really cool angles and capturing moments. WWE. I love professional wrestling.
really?
Yes. And I love it because my grandma, my dad's mom, she's adorable. She's a little beautiful woman, and we can talk wrestling, which is awesome. And she even says stuff like, "Oh, Roman Reigns is my husband." It just makes me laugh. Just like, it was something I used to watch besides comedy that my dad would like put on, and yeah, just since a kid I've been glued to it. So
I love that. You're wearing a Chicago Bulls shirt.
oh yeah.
So that's your favorite basketball team?
I have too many favorite basketball teams based on like my favorite players,
Name your top 5 of all time, living or dead.
Players or team?
Players first, teams next.
Got it. Well, Michael Jordan, Tim Duncan, LeBron James, Steph Curry. Wait, how many am I doing?
5, as many as you want.
Larry Bird.
There's the oldie.
And Shaq.
And Kobe? No.
I love Kobe, but I wasn't putting them in order. I was just going off of like the favorite. Allen Iverson, I have to put on there. I'm sorry, like, yo, he was cold.
I loved his dreads.
Oh, yo, cornrows. He had cornrows. I got the dreads.
Cornrows. Sorry, I'm white.
No, it's all good. Like, he had a style. He had this style nobody rocked. Everybody was afraid to get tattoos because they didn't want to be called a thug. And like, he just said, screw all that. This is who I am. Like, shout out to Allen Iverson. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Favorite basketball teams ever?
For sure, the Chicago Bulls, like my ride or die city, even though I never like grew up there. I've been there. Like, I got raised there by like, my uncle and grandma, and like shout out to my aunts and cousins over there. But yeah, this is my ride or die, like heart city. San Antonio, Texas, the Spurs. Reason why I love that, it's where I went to college. It's where I got my first jobs, and I was there when they won. I got the banner right here. 1 second. So I was there when they won the ship.
How cool is that?
Yep, 2014. I was at the parade. This is when they still had Kawhi Leonard, and that was amazing. That was an amazing experience. I've never been in a city where they won a championship and seen, oh my gosh, there's so many viral moments, like and poor Heat fans. Like there was like two, like and like, oh, I was scared for their lives. But like but
it's a good thing I was born in 1951, because in 1976 I saw the Trailblazers win in Portland, Oregon, the only time ever.
oh right, dang.
My life has been rough trying to follow them to a playoffs. Just because they I don't know, they just like every year it's the same crap. It's like, well, we'll just see how far we can go.
I know. And I really like Damian Lillard.
Me too.
Yeah, but
Did you hear about the shooting with his brother?
No.
A few years ago, somebody thought Damien got into a car, followed the car, and shot at the car, and I think killed his brother, thinking it was Damien.
Dang.
Portland.
I mean,
my hometown. So you moved around a bit. You were very little time in the city you were born, and then you lived for how long in the next city? I'm having trouble tracking it.
Pennsylvania, I believe, was right after Germany. Yeah, Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Little memory of that place too. And then after that, it was Tacoma, Washington. Right. So I'm just like meeting friends, and then like I move, and then meeting friends, and I move, and then right after that, now Tacoma, Washington, something I will cherish like for the rest of my life, and I still have friends that like hit me up every now and then. It was a great friendship, like that I created in the cul-de-sac. We were the cul-de-sac kids for real. Like we had a neighborhood where it would just like turn around and then come back out. That was it. And just so many characters. You could write a sitcom, you know? And I just remember doing crazy stuff like riding bikes off of a hill and like taking it up, like, and I would use like girl bikes, like, because I didn't have my own. So I was just like, oh, there's more lift, you know, like, and
have you thought of working the characters into your comedy set and doing impersonations or voices of different people out of your past?
I have been, every now and then it does come out. But like, I haven't really triggered like the past and put it in writing form yet.
Yeah.
Sometimes sometimes I'll just feel it out on stage and just see where the people that are right in front of me take me, and it just sparks something, and I'm like, oh, that reminds me of so and so, and
yeah,
a lot of the jokes don't really come out until it comes out organically. So it's been interesting. Sometimes I'll just be sitting, coming up with new material. I mean, shoot, I got a good 3 pages of the COVID material. Yeah, I swear it turned me into a hater. Like,
I'm so glad you're getting through the COVID and you're doing the interview while you're still in quarantine. So that speaks volumes to your commitment to doing this. Thank you so much. Speaking of COVID and the pandemic, how did your family and loved ones get through it? Did you lose any friends, family, loved ones?
I haven't lost anybody to COVID per se, but I have lost a lot of family, friends. A lot of my friends lost co-workers. But like as far as COVID, I know was my ex. She lost a coworker to COVID, and that was pretty tough. They took it pretty tough. But
one day at the beginning of the pandemic, there were 5 comedians that passed away that you heard about on Facebook just in one day.
Right.
There's been so much loss and depression, and like now we have social media and we see it nonstop
Mhm.
worldwide, like today, the blow up in Tonga, the
Wow.
tsunami and the ash, and how many are buried over there. Like,
Right.
and now all the news and tragedies affect us much greater than before we had so much internet going around. When we just had, say, television, you'd turn it off. Now we look at our phone and, oh man, more depressing. Like today, Louis Anderson, he's in the hospital with cancer.
He is?
Hmm.
Wow. Not that blows my mind because I'm just here watching literally the documentary of the Comedy Store, you know, and I see his face, that yeah. I hope he gets through it. Prayers to him, and him and his family.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's out here and it's right in the grasp of your hand versus like back in the day where you had not, you had your option. You can do that now. Let's be
Yeah,
honest. We can do
you
that
can.
now. It's easier access to so much negativity versus back in the day for sure.
There you
And
go.
so
Yeah. So what do you do when, I don't know, let's go right to it. I'm one of those people that doesn't believe there's a stigma that should be attached to mental health. Like I had brain trauma, depression. I like if there, I just believe that when you come out, whether that's sexually or psychologically, when you let the air out of your bag, out of your balloon, when you come out and be honest and authentic, it loses its power over you. So I just kind of want to talk about how freaking hard it is to be in the world right now. Like, we as comedians like to put on a face, smiley face, and go on stage and make others laugh, but we're suffering and we suffer more. That's why we're so funny, because we really feel it and then we write about it. So as a comedian, how hard has it been for you to see all of the human suffering and all of the loss of jobs and companies, and like, we can make jokes about it all day long, but let's be real, it's depressing. What do you do when things really get you depressed? You lose a dog, you have a sick family member that might not get better. How do you cope mentally while trying to make other people laugh? Could you talk about that?
yes, I find it interesting that while we're in the middle of this mental journey that we're all seemingly go through right now, at the same time, people are trying to get rid of something that helps with that, which is comedy. So I I could go into a deeper conversation. Why would they do that? Why would we focus so much on this negative nature that we're going through right now? Why would we try to get rid of something positive? Um, it's
Totally.
something that is out of my control, but things that are out of my control, I refuse to truly dwell on.
Good.
That's something that has helped me, and for the last 3 years, that was something that I caught myself doing. And like as comedians, we feel hard. We do. Um, we put ourselves out on the line like every time in front of strangers, people that don't necessarily give a damn like who you are, but we choose to put our souls, our heart, our souls out there for the masses, and we're willing to take the criticism.
Yes. And
So
we're in the forefront taking the criticism. We're in the front lines, which means later on it's going to be affecting them. Their personal choice of words are going to be analyzed word by word. We're just taking it first.
right,
If this is the way that it seems to be going, we might be the test case, but we won't be the last one picked on.
right. And I question, the way I deal with all of this is I just have to, and what I've been doing as of late is taking a deeper focus and wondering what truly makes me happy. While I live on this earth, life is not promised, like ever. Like, and we're constantly being reminded of it.
Yes.
What can I do while I have the time on this earth to do? Like even with COVID, like what, I can't perform. I just had to cancel another show. What can I do while I'm on this earth? What message what do I have to say? I don't necessarily know, but I live out my life putting it out there. If I'm unsure, I'm not going to be ignorant and say it is what it is when I don't know. And all I can do is put out what I do know. And what I do know is what truly brings positivity to me. And sometimes that takes putting social media to the side. You have to. You post what you post. You still put yourself out there, but like, I don't know. I'm not gonna do a Kevin Durant and read like all the. I get why he does it, but like, Durant, he's dope. But yeah, it's there's a lot of toxic people out there, just trying to be, the crabs in the bucket full of water,
Yes. How do you handle it when people are mean to you? I would imagine in your life, moving around, being a person of color in a racist white America in different places of the country, I would imagine that, like you've observed people being racist and you've had it come at you. And how do you handle it? You seem like a winner.
Thank you. Like I said, like even if it hurts so much to where I'm angry, like, don't get me wrong, I've had my situations where I've had racist activity happen towards me to where somebody literally like swiped my skin. This white man swiped my skin, went like this, and walked away while I was on stage. I've had stuff. I've been called names, yes. I've always just took it and just non-violence until, like, my thing is, you never have to protect yourself if you don't ask for it. If you're not calling it that energy towards you'll never have to do it.
Wow.
I've always felt like that. Unless you want to fight somebody, you're not gonna fight somebody. If I've never had the opportunity to defend myself because I've never had somebody that just like came at me because like I deserved it. Like, if somebody wants to fight you, they will. They always look like, have you ever seen that? Like, people just like, you hit first. Like, come at me, you a punk, like that, and it never happens. Like, they're not trying to fight unless like they want the excuse. You hit me first so I can then, see if I can fight. I'm never done. I'm not gonna hit somebody first and find out. Like, so.
What would you like to see in people to get better because of what we went through for 2 years in this pandemic? How would you like people to become better humans?
For each other.
What's that?
I have sympathy for each other.
Yes.
A lot of the higher ups, like the rich people, just they do what they do for money, and don't necessarily have to even think twice about what's going on with the rest of America because they're getting theirs. Just like empathy, sympathy, like give a damn, like try, at least try,
Yeah.
a human being. Like, why not? Like, why can't we be greater than what we are? Why can't we, like, not be racist. Like, and if we are, like, jokes are jokes. I get it. Like, I've had white people tell me some funny black jokes, and I'm like, yo, that's hilarious. But at the end of the day, there's a difference between being joking about it and being malicious about it. You feel that, like, where somebody says something, they say they're joking, but they mean that. There's a difference. So
Absolutely, and they try to pull one over on you and say, oh, it's just comedy. Oh, you're gonna get offended. You're just like all the people that get offended. No, we're calling you out on it. We know that there was hate behind that joke.
Oh, and trust me, during presidency, I had some friends that I had to, like, pretty much unfriend because they put that on me. They said some pretty much, well, they shared something. It was a George Floyd meme. A lot of young white kids were, like, doing this on TikTok for a little bit, where they had somebody kneel on them, and I did not think it was funny. I did not think it was fun. And he was like, oh, you're a comedian. What about all the Trump jokes you have? I'm like, I've never been malicious about what I put out. Any racist joke or whatever I have, anything I say is out of love. There's comedy in it and there's truth behind it. Yes, but I've never been malicious. I've never said whatever joke I've ever said. I've never said it out of hate, ever. And you can always tell.
You can always feel it. Like, I get sick and tired of people that aren't Chinese, for instance, making jokes about Chinese people, or people that aren't Jewish making jokes about Jewish people. Just stay in your own lane. There's enough to make fun of your own people. You know what I mean? Like, that's, it really hurts me. I get hurt by, like, why do you think it's okay to use your comedy as a weapon to continue a stereotype about a group of people that probably aren't even here to defend themselves?
Well, yeah, and that I agree to it per se, though. Like, you can make jokes about anybody. We as people, we're open. Like, that's fine. Don't ever come at it with hate, though. Like, that's my point. Because, like, if we say that, like, honestly, how did you feel about Dave Chappelle's special?
Well, I don't listen to anything anybody is saying. I met him. I love him. I trust certain people that have told me his heart. And so I didn't even watch it because I don't want to fall into the trap of, and by the way, who really cares what a white person thinks about it? Like, this is not the year for the white person. Like, I just love Dave Chappelle.
It's not our horoscopes. It's not.
This is so not the year, for my opinion. I'm keeping my mouth shut. I'm not even calling for a manager ever. I'm done. You can bring me cold food. I don't care. I got no opinions.
Damn.
No, I love Dave Chappelle no matter what he says, so I'm jaded.
Right. And I saw the special. I could understand why they'd be so sensitive, but, like, at the same time, I don't get why they would make a huge deal about no, I can't even say I understand it. Where I am with this is, like, Dave's heart, right? I've heard this said before about his special, like the final, like, hitting swing of the bat, where he talked about his friend that was trans, that he did comedy with, and just to hear the reaction of how her own people treated her on the way out because she was friends with Dave. You know, like
Wow.
that's where I am with that. You
That
can
sent
always
that sent chills up my spine.
right. Said it himself, you know? And I'm pretty sure most people that are mad about that special haven't seen it the whole way through. Or if they have, they're still stuck in their opinion and they just want something to say, you know.
Well,
So
I firmly believe that especially people of color, when they become a certain amount of famous, they become a threat and people are out to get them. Like, you rise up and don't try to go any further, you know, like, and Dave has broken through so many glass ceilings that why I'm saying it, and I don't care what anybody wants to argue, when someone of color goes past certain ceilings that Black folk aren't supposed to still go past, they're now
right,
a big threat. And so they get puck shots. They get like, look what, you know, like, if I think that, you know, I know Michael Jackson had allegations and some people say they had proof, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But he was, before that, he was also rising up so far that how do, you know, like, so far that he was becoming a threat. I really do believe that. That's all I want to say about that. And, you know, like, things still aren't fair. You look at white people, like, nobody's ever going to get worried about Taylor Swift becoming too popular.
right.
They're not going to do it. They don't.
And you know what? I think about that with my friends because, you know, I'm like, I look at this algorithm of TikTok and stuff. I'm like, you know who I am. You don't want me to be up. Like, who? Like I knew this when I took the attraction test and I came out as a 1. I was like, who are you to tell? And then I even put out the TikTok. I posted it. I posted it and they told me to take it down because it didn't go with guidelines. I was like, I didn't say nothing. All I said was like TikTok, and I made TikTok say it back because you can put the voice speech on your TikTok speech on your captions. You can you can have it repeat it. I put TikTok got me effed up, and like they made me take it down. I'm like, okay.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. What a world we live in. I'm telling you. Yeah. Like, I've been out at comedy and it just drives me nuts, and it happens way too often, and I know I've got nothing to complain about, but it drives me nuts when somebody has a punchline that is effing and then a race of people. You know, like, that is hate speech and nobody's stopping it.
I hear that a lot in Austin specifically. Um yeah, a lot of the open mics I've heard that was their punchline. You know, and people laughing it up in there. I'm like, God dang, this is logo land. This is weird. This is some get out. This is some get out movement. Somebody stirring tea somewhere. You know, those are definitely real moments though.
Yeah.
And you know,
You get fearful, you don't know who your friends are. You don't know, like, if, I don't know, anytime anybody has spoken ill of another group of people, that just tells me that they're going to talk about my people. You know, they're showing who they are.
yeah,
And
I mean, to like shows you who they are, believe them. Yeah, I mean,
who inspires you besides comedy? Like,
uh,
motivational people who inspire you. Seem very motivational.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson, Kevin Hart, um, Childish Gambino, aka Donald Glover, Jamie Foxx, Jim Carrey, Robin Williams, um, musicians, Prince, Michael Jackson, DMX, Snoop Dogg. I'm inspired by a lot of people. Denzel Washington, actors, Denzel Washington, Leonardo DiCaprio, Chadwick Boseman.
Those are
Yeah.
great names. Great stand-up, not stand-up comedy, but stand-up individuals in a tough world.
Yes. Shout out to my band Feline Fox, Abraham and Chris. Um, I'm just deeply influenced by like just gifts I just feel like I've been blessed with. And I feel like if I'm not doing this like to make a living, to live with the gifts I've been blessed with, I'm not doing the right thing.
Exactly.
So
what's the legacy you're trying to leave in the world, or how are you trying to leave the world off in a better place by being here?
I want to be an example. Is someone, if you just try to make the world a better place, even if you feel irrelevant, be an example of what can be. You know, I'm just one person. We're like, at the end of the day, nobody's truly like relevant. Even if you like inspire someone, it doesn't matter. What you leave behind is what you say, and what you say is going to be criticized. So either way you spin it, but like if you come with a good heart, or at least try to, you can make it a better place. Like people can be better. You just have to try.
Yes. You spoke earlier about comedians not being seen as necessary during the pandemic, and yet the Walmart greeter is now called a hero. Like this has been such a topsy-turvy time for comedians to even be seen as necessary, let alone important. How did that affect you when you saw on the news that all of a sudden comedy isn't even seen as necessary? In that moment when you heard that, what did you think? It hit me hard.
Yeah, it crushed. It made me because I a lot of soulful music, like it transfers over. I mean, I still have different platforms I can work, but all I wanted to do was like heartbreaking work. It definitely hit me in a spot, that brings so much joy, not only to myself, but like other people. There's no other adrenaline like you up there with the mic and making just like a mass of people that don't know you laugh.
Something else. You got around the country. What's your best moment and your worst moment, or a high and a low you've seen, without saying the people or names of clubs?
Right. I've been doing
good and bad.
Well,
funny, scary, whatever.
I guess one of the best moments I had was getting my first gig for sure at the end of the Mountain Gods. The first time I ever get paid professionally as a comedian, like that felt great to me. And to get the contract, read it over, and then like, sign it and then get paid and go to the hotel. I'm all nervous. I'm like, I got a reservation, like never like reserved like anything. And they're like, oh yeah, your face is right here. And then I see my face on a poster. I'm like, oh yeah. And I go to my room, I get naked, I put the robe on, I do the slide thing, the Tom Cruise slide on your socks. I do that. Like it was amazing. As far as like worst moments, just in general, it would have to be, my alarm was going off. It would have to be just, I feel like I went through a mental decline when I played the role of Satan. This was in the play of the Mysteries in college, in the University of the Incarnate Word in San Antonio, Texas. I will never forget it. I felt like after I got that role, my mental was just like at a steady decline, because I had to put myself there. It was terrible. It was a terrible time in my life. I'm glad I'm out of it. It just like, that rocked me. It really truly did. Like nothing crazy happened, where, I went to jail or anything. It was just like, I was just at a mental decline. I just started hating myself. you know, just hated myself.
Wow. So you do acting as well?
Yes.
Let's talk about some of your acting.
Yeah. So that was one of my roles. The first ever, well, it was my first ever. Yeah, you know what? I'll start it from like the first one. This is when I knew I was an actor. I'll just do this experience because it's a really cool story. Because
Okay, sure.
basketball wasn't working, and then I got depressed and started messing up in school. And I had one of my classes. One of my classes were a theater class, and that's I've always knew I was funny, and I just took the scenes and did my best comedic acting I could do, made people laugh, and just did great, and just really sold everything. And the theater directors, they always wanted me, and they're like, oh, we gotta get him in a play, we gotta get him in a play. And once basketball wasn't working out, I just had that time to, because I at that point I was just like taking stats in basketball because I couldn't play anymore because my grades were messed up and my injuries like took me out. And I had time to go and just walk and venture into the theater class and just watch them, just watch them go. They happened to be auditioning for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Wow.
And like, I would watch them, school would pass, and then they'd have the rehearsals after school. So they would go to the theater. So I would just like, I wouldn't have anything to do. I would go over to the theater and just like sit in the seats and just watch them go. And sometimes just sit next to the theater director. Shout out to Mr. Reyes and Mr. C. They were awesome. And they always saw something in me. So like, I would just like, shoot the stuff with them. And one day he was like, hey, you want to, like, he got all the Oompa Loompas up on stage. He had a crap load of Oompa Loompas just as extras, right? So I'm watching one day, and then he's on stage. He's like, hey, just calls me up on stage. He's like, hey, you want to just like mess around with us? And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll learn this stuff, whatever, cool. And then I go up there and I'm doing cool, like Oompa, learning the dances, I'm just like doing extra flair. And and I'm waiting for the joke to be over, right? So I can go sit down. And about 35, 45 minutes pass, and I'm just like, I'm up on stage, and he hands out the scripts. He's like, all right, everybody, here's the scripts. Boom, boom, hands them out, and he hands me one. And I'm like, this is hilarious. I'm trying to give it back. And he's like, no, you're gonna do it. You're gonna be a Oompa Loompa. And I took that was my first role ever, right? So I took that and ran with it. Like, I always had the mindset of like, in Living Color, like, where even if you're just like a side character, like, it doesn't matter how small the role is, you can take it and run with it.
I love that.
I took that, right? And I was like supposed to be one of the side Oompa Loompas, but I'm like 6'1" and I can dance, and I dance all crazy. So they're like, yo, he's gotta have some type of like improv lines. So they gave me some improv lines and like moments. And all right, so I ended up being in the so there was this moment where Veruca shoots, what's her name? She turns into a big plum, or like that. She just like turns into a big plum, pretty much. And her mom gets mad because Willy Wonka says that she has to be taken to the juicing room, and she like loses it. And like, I'm supposed to be like one of the Oompa Loompas that's like holding her. Just we got to take her to the juicing room. Take her to the juicing room, and she's like, the juicing room. And then she's like, this woman, like, she barely like swiped at me, but I fly off stage and roll off like the stage, and then just plummet and then like Family Guy, and just like my arms just like over my head. Like, people, oh my God. And they're like, are you all right? And I'm like, yeah, dude, like, it's cool. Like, but it's so funny, and I did it like every single time, just boom, boom. Yeah, so
you have natural instincts in improv.
yeah. I have little to no experience in like actual practice, other than like a couple of times I went to groundlings, like a little like pre, like before you get into the groundlings. I did that. I did something in San Antonio years ago, like just practiced with them, but never like anything long term. But like I've always loved improv. I've always had a natural feel for it. It's always been fun for me.
Yeah. Have you had aspirations to ever get on Saturday Night Live out of that?
I've always heard those three letters.
Really?
Like every person I've met, like that knows me, like has seen me do comedy, do the whole nine. Like there's not been 1 year where I haven't had somebody that I know or met for the first time not tell me those three letters ever. Like ever.
That's so cool. Oh my gosh. I would really love to see you on that show. It
That,
needs spark, it goes through periods of time where it needs a spark.
and I don't know what the hesitation is. I just never done it. And of course I'm nervous about it. But people are like, when you hear this so many times, like you're told like you're already on the diving board, but people are just like, jump, you should jump. Yeah, you should jump. Like you probably should jump.
Yeah, that would be so cool. Well, now that we're kind of at the end of our time here, is there anything I didn't ask of you? We got into how you're from a military family, so you traveled and recreated yourself when you moved, and how you dealt with adversity and even racism, and how you got into comedy and what you want to do in the future a little bit. Is there anything we didn't cover that you'd like to cover?
Actually, no, I think you hit everything, and thank you so much. You've been awesome. Let's give a round of applause.
Thank you. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
You
but
want to see my Drew Barrymore impression?
let me see.
Oh, you guys, it's so great. She's kind of like Trump.
You guys should.
It's so annoying. She's like America's sweetheart, and you can't make fun of her right now. But she's just too syrupy.
Too syrupy?
Yeah, she's too syrupy. Tone it down a little. I'm syrupy, and she's like 10 notches higher than, like, she's turned up the syrup so high. It's like,
I mean,
yeah.
that Keanu Reeves too. Like he's like the male version. Like he just can't do any wrong. He takes pictures. His hands are like this. Like, like he's just the sweetest guy ever. But yeah.
Oh, well, thank you so much for coming on. I love you a lot. When do you come back to Vegas?
It'll happen soon. As soon as I'm done with this quarantine, I need to schedule these boosters and flu shots. So because I saw this. What is the actor's name that plays Candyman? The original.
Candy.
Todd. It's Todd something.
Are we talking about it in the 1960s?
Yes.
The dancer?
No. I don't think so. No. The original
The Candyman.
The horror film.
Oh, it's a horror show?
It's a horror film.
Oh, I don't know. Do you want me to Google it right now?
Yes, please. Well, no. It's irrelevant. But that man, I saw him do a quick interview on Double Toasted. Shout out to Double Toasted. They don't know who I am, but whatever. You probably won't hear. I don't know. Who cares? He said something that kind of hit. He was like, "There's just too much money to be made to just be taken out by anything." So he's doing every necessary step that he has to get out there, because he loves to travel. He loves to work. He loves to travel. He loves to work. So he's not gonna put any excuse in his name, to not get out there and get that work. So I I'm going to find my way to get that work. So if I got to get this booster and these flu shots, I'm going to have to, you know.
Yes. Well, God bless you on that. Oh my gosh. And you getting through this COVID. And are you right now by yourself quarantine? Because that's a bear. I did that at Christmas time.
No, I'm actually with my mom tested positive as well. My dad tested negative, thank God. But like both my mother and I are doing fine. We're fine. The symptoms aren't like crazy, you know. So thank God for that. It's just you know, we're all going through it, and it's questionable. A lot of things are questionable, and nobody truly knows what's going on. We're just gonna have to do what we have to do to, you know, contain this, whatever we, you know.
Yes, absolutely. I'm allergic to the shots. I'm deadly allergic. Yeah, I can't have any shots because I'm allergic to most Western medicine. And if it's going to stay in my body a period of time, then I'm going to be allergic to it all that time. So they said no. And then they're like, I get so many people saying, oh, you just don't trust science, or you're an anti-vax. No, I'm allergic to it. I would die. I've been in 36 ambulances with allergic reaction to Western medicine. So no thanks.
Yeah, that's wow. Like everybody's having different reactions. Some people can't even take the vaccines, so nobody truly has an answer to this. So I'm just as lost as y'all, but I'm gonna do what I got to, you know.
Yes, absolutely. Well, you're a winner in my book, and I can tell you're so positive and you're motivational. You're
Thank you.
absolutely, I can't wait till you come to Vegas. I'll find a way to come out and see you, even if I have to wear a military gas mask. And I did, yes, I went to the arts district and I bought one for $60. And if I'm gonna
Oh
go into a small venue, then I'll pull out my gas mask. You bet I will.
yeah, you you better. That's awesome. I want to see it.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.